So today we're going to be talking about a system called F.R.A.P. Now, F.R.A.P was basically a term coined by one of my business coaches, Josh Latimer. Josh has helped literally over 100 people become millionaires with their service businesses. He had his own window cleaning company about 10 years ago that he sold for 7 figures, so it was very profitable. And he helped me sell my business actually for multiple 6 figures last year. But I've been working with Josh for quite a while, and really a lot of how we grew our business, we 9x'd our cleaning business in about 4 years. And a big way how we did that was implementing a lot of the principles behind F.R.A.P. Back then, I didn't call it F.R.A.P, but what we're teaching today is super powerful, and honestly, you can apply it to any business. If you're interfacing with people, you can use F.R.A.P in your business to grow it. Now, what's super cool is when you use the F.R.A.P formula, which I'll be teaching today, it really skyrockets your profits, because how many of you know that revenues for vanity, profit is for sanity? So if you're in business but you're not making profit, it's like after a while you're just going to burn out. It's not fun. And really, if God has called us to be entrepreneurs, um, money is ultimately a responsibility. It's like a stewardship, and so we want to be able to use the funds that God entrusts to us for His kingdom, and that's a big passion of mine. My wife and I, we personally have given a lot of money to an orphanage in India that we love to support, that rescues women and children out of human trafficking. There's other projects that we want to give towards them. So that's one reason, a huge reason why we want to grow our businesses and be as profitable as possible, so we can actually make an impact in the world. So we're going to dive in. I want you to put on your thinking caps, because this is going to be a little bit intense, not in a bad way, but like there's pay close attention. What we're covering, it really will make a huge difference in your business. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go to full screen here. So wave your hand if you can see my screen. Okay, cool. All right, let me pull up the chat here. So I want you to type in the chat really quick, F.R.A.P formula. Okay, and F.R.A.P stands for 4 things. It's frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. So everybody type frequency in the chat. And so frequency obviously stands for how often your customers are buying from you. Okay. And many times we think in order to grow our business, we've got to spend more on marketing. And I talk to service business owners. I was one of them. I literally paid an agency, I think it was $4,000 or $5,000 one time, and got like zero profits out of it. And so marketing agencies, a lot of times, they're just about impressions and likes and this and that, but they're not actually getting you customers. And what's cool about the F.R.A.P formula is you can learn how to bring a lot of this in-house, or like Michael, in your case, really help your clients like drive their results even harder, plus help grow your business at the same time. And so, so you don't have to spend a ton of money on marketing to necessarily be more profitable. And so many times as entrepreneurs, we're strapped for cash, right? Like there's a statistic that the Small Business Administration says that 81% of small business owners are just 2 weeks away from overdrafting their business checking account. So that's a problem, right? Like people aren't making profit in their business. Service business, honestly, operates at much lower margins than a lot of businesses out there. And so profit can be difficult to come by sometimes. But as I mentioned, Josh, he's used this system to literally he's coached over 1,000 people, literally made 100 millionaires, over 100 millionaires, using these systems right here. I was talking to him recently, and he took one company, I think they were doing like 2 million in revenue. He used literally the F.R.A.P formula, took them to 4 million in 1 year. So doubled their revenue in 1 year, and then they're on track to do like 6 million now. So, So let's talk about how this works. So there's basically 4 moves that you can make to double your profits without spending more money on your business. Okay, and so frequency is so important because you want to get your customers to buy from you more often. And then referrals, getting your customers and strategic partners to refer you more customers. Like, how many of you actually have, raise your hand if you actually have a referral program in your business? Awesome. Frank does. That's amazing. Way to go, Frank. I know most business owners don't, and even in my own company, that was something that was way under leveraged. And so there's different strategies we can install to increase referrals. And then our average ticket. This is making sure that you've got packages that you're selling, so that you're actually getting more people to buy from you at different price points. You're increasing your overall profitability, and I'm going to show you guys some actual ways that you can do that. And then finally, pricing. And many times, as a business, as a small business, we do have room to raise our prices. But even if you're not raising your baseline price necessarily, um, we can we can we can practice supply and demand pricing based on the kind of the natural buying cycle in your market. And so, whenever you implement all 4 of these, it really adds a ton to your bottom line. We're going to go through some nerdy math today. I'm going to actually show you how the math works if you were to increase each one of these things just by 15%. Now, something kind of a dirty little secret in a way is when private equity firms, so let's say these huge billion-dollar firms or multi-million-dollar firms, they come in and buy up, a couple service businesses in your town. um, the first thing they're going to do is implement things like F.R.A.P. They're not going to, necessarily dump a ton of marketing spend necessarily. They're going to make really small adjustments and tweaks that hugely impact the overall profit of the company. So we're going to learn kind of how they think and how you can do this in your business. So here's an example. So let's say that you've got a $600,000 a year business, and your take-home profit is about 100,000. Okay. And then using conservative numbers, let's say you increase your frequency, referrals, average ticket, and price by 15% each. So we're going to compound each of those on top of each other. And honestly, each one of these things is way easier to do than you would think. So let's see what that looks like, how it breaks down. So let's say, again, our base is 600,000 for the year. Let's say we want to get to 1 million. Okay. We want to grow our revenue to 1 million. So we have a gap of 400,000. Hugely helpful to measure that gap. Elizabeth, you were asking me about how to reverse engineer your goals, and this is actually part of that. I'll be making a video on that on Friday. But our gap is 400,000. Now let's say we increased how often people are buying from us just by 15%. And that can be, we're just sending more emails. We have a better follow-up system. We, run some promotions throughout the year. Lots of things that a lot of people aren't doing, and get that up 15%. That adds $90,000 to your revenue. And then let's say we increase referrals by 15%, and then these are all, compound on each other. We're up to 793,500. Let's say you increase your average ticket, so you start bundling your services, and you get a high ticket offer going in your company, and then more of a basic ticket, and more people buying kind of your middle tier product. Well, that can have a huge impact on your revenue and profit. And so now we're up to $912,525 just with those 3 levers. And then let's say you increase your pricing and or practice a little bit of supply and demand pricing based on your natural buying cycle by 15%. We're already over $1 million. Okay. And if you notice, like, each one of these things can literally be done pretty much without spending any money. Like, frequency can be done just by being on the phone more often, having some better systems in your office, more emails, more texts. Referrals, same thing. It's all about scripts. I'm going to show you a script that Josh used in his company to 10x their referrals. And then average ticket, super easy. That's just a little bit of brain work over the weekend to increase your average ticket. And then supply and demand pricing, again, just kind of goes back to your scripts. So all these things can be done without actually spending more money on your business and hugely impact your profit. So let's kind of see how it shakes down. Are you guys? I hope you guys are trucking along with me. So let's look at this. So let's talk about frequency. Now, if you're like a roofer, obviously it doesn't necessarily apply to you because it's a one and done job. But referrals may be huge if you're a roofer. But for most businesses, there's a ton of potential to get more repeat business. According to Forbes, acquiring a new customer can cost about 5 to 7 times more than selling to an existing customer. So it's a lot cheaper if you are selling to an existing customer or someone who's bought from you in the past. And also, existing customers spend 67% more on average than those new to your business and have a far higher close rate. Okay, so what does that mean? So, in addition to getting new customers by marketing to people more that you already have in your database, you increase your profit margins as well. And then one of the best ways that I've found to do this, and Josh has done it as well, is what we call a Rainmaker campaign. Now, in my cleaning company, for example, we would run Rainmaker campaigns always during our slow season. And a Rainmaker campaign is really simple. It's a 3-day campaign of emails, text, and voicemails. And depending on your average ticket, you can bring in anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 in a pinch. So, for example, in our company, every July was one of our slowest months, and so every July we would schedule out 3 emails to go out, and you can do 3 texts and 3 ringless voicemails, go out over a short period of time, really simple, and get tons more bookings on the calendar or clients calling in. I've seen people book, they've used a strategy and book like $60,000 in like pressure washing jobs, house washes, and things like that in a matter of days. 60 grand. And so, huge way to fill up your schedule, especially if you have a decent database. Sorry. And then, so these are some real stories of how this worked. Chris, I know Chris, he made $7,000 the first week with this carpet cleaning business by using a Rainmaker campaign. Brian got flooded with phone calls and made $32,000 in a week with this pressure cleaning business. Jen was actually one of my students, made $11,000 with her maid service business in, I think it was about a week or so that she ran this kind of campaign. Ryan literally, as Josh was writing this, made $8,000 just hours after sending his first Rainmaker campaign, and then 14 days later it grew to almost 30 grand. So this really works, and it's super simple. We're actually going to talk about how to do it. So basically, on day 1, we're going to send an email, a ringless voicemail, and a text message. My favorite software to do this is Go High Level. We actually include an instance of Go High Level with our private clients, but I just like it's so simple to set up. Day 2, same thing, email, ringless voicemail, text. Day 3, same thing, email, ringless voicemail, and text. And the ingredients to make it really successful is you got to have a logical justification. You want to start with a sample list. So you actually, let's say you've got a list of 5,000 contacts. Well, try this out on like 500 of those, test it. If it's not a home run, try something a little bit different, tweak it, and then try it again before you shoot it out to your whole list. You want to find something that really works. And once you do, it's like money in the bank. And super profitable because you're not having to spend a ton of money on marketing to acquire those customers. So you test it, and then finally we're going to implement, optimize, and I forgot what the S stands for. Oh, and scale. Yeah, optimize, iterate, and scale. So, so logical justification could be something like the seasonality, or let's say you've just got a few spots available. Let's say that you typically can only take on 4 or 5 extra jobs per week, whatever that is. And so you run a promotion along those lines. Let's say that you just hired some new staff or you just got some new equipment that you want to try out. It can be anything. It can even be silly stuff like I'm doing this because my mom is celebrating her 100th birthday and I just wanted to celebrate with you. And so we're, have a special going on. And then you can do it for VIP clients as well. Super helpful. Choose a sample list. So again, start with a small list, test out your offer. And then once it works, once you find something that works, then optimize it and scale it up to your whole list. So day one would be something like this, ringless voicemail. And this doesn't have to be overly scripted and super polished. Marketing actually does better when it's very like low key and very relational and just like, hey, just checking in with you. This is David. And so you might say something like this. Hey, sorry I missed you. This is David. I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's actually my mom's 80th birthday, and I'm just like so happy, and so we're celebrating over here. Anyways, wanted to let you know about special we've got going on. Don't stress about calling me back. We'll get this figured out for you. Actually, I'm going to try and shoot over an email and text too, in case that's easier. Oh yeah, I'm calling. Sorry, I'm calling from David's maid service, and we're so appreciated your past business and are excited to help you out again soon. If I don't get a call back, no worries. I'll try again tomorrow in case that's more convenient for you. Take care. So you want to throw in things like I'll try again tomorrow, or I'll send you an email, I'll send you a text, because you want them to know that you're going to be following up. And when people know that you're going to keep following up with them until you hear back, they're more likely to call you and tell you one way or another if they want the deal. Okay, so that's kind of an important part of the game here, or the strategy. And then a text might look like something like this. Um, Hey, John, not sure if you're aware, but it's my mom's 75th birthday, and so we're just celebrating by giving away a free fridge cleaning whenever we come and do your deep clean for your house, because my mom loves a clean fridge. And so that's the reason for the text today. I'll try to shoot you both an email and voicemail in case that works better for you. Talk soon. So notice that it's not about like, you don't have to have this big thing. It's like, make it personable, if that makes sense. Your logical justification. Make it very funny, interesting, something that's very relatable. And then same kind of thing with the email, and just always let them know that you're going to be following up, a few different ways. So we're going to do that same type of thing for 3 straight days. So you're contacting them a total of 9 times. So 3 days, 3 different ways, 9 times. And so with the Rainmaker campaign, it's pretty easy to get a 15% increase in frequency over the course of a year, especially if you run these regularly. Because we had a service business with like a natural buying cycle, we would run Rainmaker campaigns 3 times a year and just bring in a bunch of cash during our slow seasons without having to go market for that. So super helpful. You want to install these in your business and just have them run on autopilot for you. So if you were doing 600,000 a year, that 15% increase is an additional 90,000 in revenue. But what's cool is you're not having to spend money to acquire those customers, so it's way more profitable. This is how we double our profit. And then you can do it again throughout the year. All right, let's talk about, okay, I'm going to stop actually right there. Does anybody have any questions about the frequency? Before I jump onto referrals. Okay, cool. So let's dive into referrals. And whenever I say referrals, I know whenever I hear other people say referrals, sometimes even my eyes gloss over and like want to go in the back of my head. So I think it's a bad word in a way, but it's actually a really, really powerful strategy. So I want to walk you through how Josh used this to 10x his referrals with 6 different touches. Okay. And I mean, if you had 10x the referrals that you're getting, let's say you get like 2 referrals a month. What if you got 20 referrals a month? What if you got 20 free customers? What's interesting about referrals is, of course, they cost nothing to acquire, but they are much more likely to do business with you. They're a way higher quality lead than a regular lead, and typically spend more than cold traffic because they trust you because they're a referral. Um, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to do 6 different touches, and the ingredients are wow and delight, have a clear script, repetition, and no tolerance for deviation. So if you've got an office staff, or if you're the office staff, you've got to hold everybody on your team accountable, including yourself, that you're going to stick to the script and always ask for the referral every single time. And it's very interesting because we're actually going to start out by referral seeding. So we're going to actually ask for the referral before we even do the job. And what that does is it just gets the person's brain used to us asking for that referral, and they start to think about it. So, all right. And then, so Josh, they were doing almost 200,000 a month before he sold his business, and a huge chunk of their customers came from referrals. And he was in a small town; it wasn't even like in a big metropolis or anything. So the first time that they call, you say something like this. So you give them a quote, let's say over the phone, and then you say, hey, before you go, can I ask you a favor? We're a small family owned local company. We rely on referrals from good people like you. We promise to over deliver for you. So if you have a weird uncle or crazy neighbor or even regular neighbor, you could probably both save a bunch of money if we service your properties at the same time. So just keep that in mind. So, you're breaking the ice, you're making it like super, just trying to make them comfortable with you. And you want to emphasize we're a small family owned local company. People tend to trust, local companies more. I had a customer tell me one time explicitly, the reason why I love your company is because you're on Main Street, you're a small local company, I can talk to you, you're not a franchise, that kind of thing. And so people are looking for that. Now, obviously, people aren't going to buy from you the first time that or give you a referral the first time you ask, but we're planting that seed. Okay, and then like the sales guy will go to the house, or let's say you're a maid service and you go do the job and you've got a lead technician there, or you're there doing it yourself, and then you say something like this: hey, can you do us a favor? We're a small local company, right? Small family-owned local company. Our kids go to school with your kids, and all our technicians are paid a living wage. We really rely on referrals. So if you have a crazy uncle or weird neighbor, could you have them give us a call? It would mean a whole lot. Plus, you'd both save us money. Okay. So you could even, you could send out an email before the job, if you don't have a sales guy that goes out, or send a text message, something like that. And then once the crew does the work, you want to make sure that you engineer some over delivery or some wow and delight. So, for example, let's say you're going out to service homes, you could have a checklist of pre-authorized items that your technicians use to where they have permission, pre-authorized permission to over deliver for a customer. Okay, and this can be engineered. It's like something that it's systematized. You want your over delivery to be systematized where it's profitable. Maybe it takes 5 minutes to do or something, but it makes a big difference in the feeling of your service. And so once that's done, then the crew or the lead tech or whoever can say, did we meet or exceed your expectations today, before they leave? And when the homeowner says yes, we instantly say, great, can you do us a favor? We're a small family-owned local company, and we rely on referrals from good people like you. And so when you do that, they're kind of, they start to get the message. And so we're not just asking one time or 2 times. It's actually a total of 6 times, and getting that seeded from the very beginning. And then, so at that point, we've asked us, we've asked 3 times, and then the next day you want to have your office call them. Always do follow-ups. You always want to do post-delivery follow-up. If you don't have a post-delivery follow-up system, you need to install that in your business. It's super easy to do and just systematize. But when that happens, that phone call on the back end or email, whatever's more appropriate. Um, did we meet or exceed your expectations yesterday or last week? Yes, great. Can you do us a favor? We're a small family-owned business, and we rely on referrals from good people like you. So, and then finally, you can do an email. Like in my e-commerce company, we send an email 2 weeks after they received their item, always asking for a testimonial, which is kind of like a referral. And then you could do a postcard, or you could do a gift in the mail. It all depends on how much profit you have, but that can be really, really helpful, especially when they have something physical in their hands. So anyway, so that's how you can ask 6 times. So it doesn't always have to be in person, right? That you're asking 6 times, but this literally 10 extra referrals in Josh's company, and those are free leads. And how many of us, like, you got to think about what's my average customer acquisition cost. If it costs you $200 on average to acquire a new customer through Google or whatever the case may be, well, what if you just systematize asking for referrals and got a bunch of those customers for free instead of paying $200 or $300 for a customer every time you need a new customer? So you can see how powerful this is. And then you just got to make sure that there's no exceptions, no excuses, nothing falls through the cracks. This happens every single time, and it will make a huge, huge difference for your business. So if we add, again, with using the $600,000 business, we've already brought it up to 690,000 by increasing our frequency 15%. Add on 15% in referrals, and that brings us to $793,500. And much of that is $193,500 in profit. Okay, so a lot of this is profit because we're not spending a ton of money on marketing. Okay, and you can do this with the staff that you already have, which is just amazing. You don't have to hire an agency and so on. All right, let's move on to average ticket. Now, in my company, whenever we started selling packages, we literally doubled our revenue in 3 months. And we doubled again in 6 months by selling packages and having good follow-up systems. And we kept doubling actually for a couple of years, and then after that it was like 30% growth year over year. But the average ticket is huge. There's actually a study that was done about 5 or 6 years ago that showed that whenever service companies specifically offer 3 packages, and 3 is the magic number, on average their revenue increased by 75%. Okay, so super important to have packages. And I want you to make sure that you also have a like a high ticket offer that you always try to sell. The point is not to get a bunch of people to buy your high ticket offer. The point is it's what we call price anchoring, where if they hear that, okay, there's this $1,200 maid service I could buy, or there's the $400 maid service I could buy, and the $400 is the one that you normally want people to buy anyway, way more people are going to buy that $400 just because you had the $1,200 package. And then occasionally people will buy the $1,200 package, and that could look like any number of things, for your services. But you want to have a high ticket offer regardless of what you're doing. And then you price anchor those people. So, and then you've got your more basic under that. But you can also do upsells. You can do order bumps. Hey, do you want to add on a fridge cleaning? Hey, do you want to add on, this piece of software or this consultation over here, different things like that. And you don't want to just sell your services. You always want to sell clear packages and let them know what's included. And if you're not doing this, you're just leaving a ton of money on the table. So you want some kind of good, better, best system, okay? And so what we're going to use is proprietary language, meaning you want to name your packages, find some fun names for them that are congruent with your company language and personality. You want to have some limited time bonuses, like if you book today, I'll be able to include such and such, or I'll throw in this bonus over here. And then courage. And the reason why we say courage is because whenever you start out with a high ticket offer, it does take some courage, especially if you're not used to selling at a high price point. It can be scary. Whenever I made this shift in my company, it was very, very scary. But I stuck to the script, and within a few days, I was shocked. We were bringing in more money than I ever thought possible in our company by using a new script and some packages that I got my hands on. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I never sold anything in my life. So if I can do it, I know you can do it. And you just got to stick to the script and go for it. So let's look at a little bit more at what this looks like. So let's say, for example, that company A gives a quote to clean your gutters for $200. They come out to your house. How much is it to clean my gutters? Oh, that'll be 200 bucks. See you later. Let me know if you want the job done. Company B comes out and gives you a quote of $300 to clean your gutters, but you're not just getting your gutter cleaning, you're getting the Super Saver Gutter Cleaning Protection Bundle. Okay? And this includes a stack of services, so you make it very clear like what they're getting. So they're also getting a gutter inspection report, a hand debris removal process. All debris is bagged up and moved off site. High pressure rinse with water where they flush all the downspouts. Final walk around inspection, and a better than money back guarantee. Okay. Which one would you buy? Like, would you really, try to save the $100, or would you feel good about having, hiring company B, paying a little bit more money, but knowing like they have this amazing process and they've explained to me exactly what they're going to do. The language is, carefully articulated, and I'm going to have way more peace of mind. They're going to inspect my gutters, so I'm going to know if there's like issues that I need to be conscious of that might affect my foundation and roof and other things. So like, yeah, pay the $100. You get this done every couple of years or something, and so you're gonna win a lot more business if you have clear packages like this versus the guy who's just like, yeah, it's this much to clean your house. So it's easier to demand a higher price just by clearly articulating what it is that you're selling. We had people call our cleaning company all the time who would literally tell me on the phone, or they would sometimes gasp whenever we tell them the price, because our prices were double what a lot of our competition were, and we were one of the most expensive companies in the area, and they would gasp at our prices, and they'd say, "Wow, I never thought cleaning would be that much. Let me call around a little bit." And a lot of times, like often, they would call us back in 3 to 5 days and say, you know what, I've called around, I can't get a hold of anybody else. You've explained to me exactly what you're going to do. I love the checklists. I looked over them. So we're communicating constantly. We're sending them emails about what makes our company different. I've read all your reviews. You're the #1 rated maid service. Let's do that. When can I get on the schedule? So they go from literally gasping at the price to when can I get on the schedule, because the perceived value is so much higher. And really all it came down to was our communication. It's all about, because we made our packages clear. We're building trust, and so this is super important. And then something interesting too, even if only 3 out of 10 people take you up on your higher ticket bundles, it can make a big difference to your bottom line. So find things that are high perceived value but don't cost a lot for you to actually deliver, and wrap those into a bundle that you can charge a really high price for. Doesn't take you a lot to deliver on, and maybe your profit is 200 or 300% higher on those high ticket items. And then also you want to price marinade. That just means that you always start with your highest ticket offer and come down the ladder from there. Super, super important. So if you're not doing that in your sales process, you need to start right away. And if you don't have a high ticket offer, you need to get that built out. And then what that does is it increases the overall conversion rate on your core services, which I mentioned a little bit ago. All right. So I hope that you guys can see the value in all these things. All right, so lastly, let's talk about price and then we'll kind of wrap this up. And I want to take some questions if you guys have questions at the end. Let's talk about price. So I'm sure you guys have noticed everything's going up in price the last several years, right? Like prices have really honestly gone through the roof. It's like on everything. Everybody's charging more for everything because of inflation. Okay, so it costs more to deliver our services. Um, and so you also need to raise your prices if you haven't raised them. If you haven't raised your prices in 2 years, you're behind. Like you need to at least at a minimum have a 5 to 10% price increase yearly. I recommend getting your prices up to market value, and then at a bare minimum, raise your prices 5% every single year on your products and services. Otherwise, you're just behind inflation. Inflation is actually closer to like 15%. So we got to raise our prices. And here's why it's so important. So raising your prices isn't just about you making a bunch more money, although we want that and that's important too. But it allows you to build a better business. Like think of Apple versus um, you know, just a random cell phone company. Uh, Apple is like a premier product, premier service. Their employees are happy. Their enterprise value, I want to say they're the most valuable company in the world now. It's like over $1 trillion, first ever $1 trillion company. Okay, and they charge premium prices for their stuff, but it's a premium experience, and everybody wants an iPhone, right? And so when you raise your prices, you really are able to take better care of your company, your employees. You're able to take better care of your customers. You are able to um, have benefits and things like that for your employees. Set aside profit for yourself to grow the business. You'll be happier, which affects the entire well-being of the business and employees and everybody. So, um, yeah, so I love what Frank said. He said, increase your value and how you communicate, making raising your price a no-brainer. Yeah, exactly. So when you increase your value, the value of your service, and that perceived value, and you're adding value to your customers, it's a lot easier to then justify higher prices, and you can have a very relational, easy conversation about price because you're taking great care of your customers, and it just becomes a no-brainer at that point. So, um, another thing, sorry, is in most companies, employee turnover is one of the most costly things to any business because it costs a lot to train a new employee, a lot more than you might think. And you reduce employee turnover by charging higher prices. Okay, here we go. Sorry, just making sure I'm on the right page here. Okay, so if you're in any kind of service industry, one thing you can do is practice some kind of supply and demand pricing, which greatly increases profit. It's awesome. So let's see how this works. So your prices shouldn't necessarily be the same all the time because the supply and demand for your services aren't the same. So for example, if your company has a natural buying cycle, and this applies to almost all services, then when the demand is up, the price should also be up, but it should be above your normal base price. Okay, so let's see how this works. Um, a lot of small companies wear it as a badge of honor that they're booked out 2 months in advance during their busy season. So if that's you, don't do that anymore. You need to raise prices like yesterday. Don't be booked out. You should never be booked out more than 2 weeks if you're offering some kind of service, because you're literally leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, and a lot of that could be profit. So during busy season, you want to extract maximum profit by raising your prices about 20%, even if that means you close less deals temporarily. So you keep your schedule full, like whatever allows you to keep your schedule full, raise your prices. Even if you're doing less deals, you should not have a waiting list. Now, here's the magic of it is, well, actually, let's go over the script first. So when the demand starts to go down again, all you're going to do is reach out to the people who didn't buy at higher prices and say, hey, our schedule's opened up now. If you haven't booked your service yet, we can do it for 20% less now. So the cool thing about that is, you're just going back to your normal prices. That 20% less is just baseline prices. You're not giving a discount. We never want to really go below our baseline, at least not much at all. And then you double the profits when you have it 20% up. And so let's see how that works. So let's say you've got a 20% profit margin in your service company. So for every 100,000 in revenue, you get to keep $20,000 in profit. So company B charges 20% more while all the fixed costs like labor, trucks, etc., stay the same. Because expenses stayed the same, your company B didn't get a 20% increase in profit, they get a 100% increase. So instead of taking $20,000 home in profit, they get $40,000 for the same work. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Sorry. Let's get. Okay. So right here, up at the top of the demand, that's where you've got your 20% increase in pricing, and then come back down, and this is just your baseline price. And so when you increase your prices by 20%, it's not a 20% increase in profit, it's a 100% increase in profit if you've got a 20% profit to start out with. Okay, so that makes a huge difference. And I think most businesses can do this. And the cool thing is too, let's say some people you turn away because they don't want to pay the higher prices, you can call them back and get them on the schedule when things slow down for the season. So it just makes a really big difference. It's really a win-win for everybody, and increases the overall profitability a ton. All right. So we're about to wrap up here. So let's kind of do a quick recap. So it's about how 4 moves can take a $600,000 business past the $1 million mark without spending more money. Literally, each of these things could be implemented 1 week at a time. You just need to sit down and think through your scripts, write some emails, some texts, some voicemails, and then it's really, like, honestly, most of it is scripts. And Frank asked, how does increasing prices help with turnover? So because with employee turnover, the most common reason why people have high employee turnover is just because their employees don't make enough money. Honestly, if your employees make enough money, and they're going to stay at their job, like, you will endure all kinds of things in a job if it's paying the bills and you're satisfied with your wage. If it's inconsistent, if it's lower than it should be, if you don't have benefits, like health benefits are super important to employees. When you raise your prices on the front end, you have a lot more profit a lot more bottom line to be able to contribute to higher wages, health benefits, bonus structures, and things that make it more fun and rewarding to work at your company. You know, you guys can have a pizza party every month just for fun. Or I know I've even heard of companies where every week, you know, especially in like a service company, the technicians work really hard, and like at the end of the week, send them home with a pizza, send them home with dinner for the family. And it's like if you have the profit to do that, you're going to keep your employees a lot happier throughout the year and just retain them a lot longer. Oh, Maria says they have pizza day every Friday. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I've heard of other companies doing that. I think it's a great idea. You know, just so much fun, and people feel taken care of. And when you, if you're stressed out as the owner and you're not making money, or if it's tight, even if it's tight-ish, everyone um, is going to feel that in the company. Okay, so it's a top-down thing. So again, just to recap, so let's say we're doing 600,000 in revenue, but we increase our frequency by 90,000, or increase it by 15%. It takes us to 690, and then we add on an additional 15% in referrals. That takes us to 793,500. We add on 15% increase in our average ticket, and that takes the business to $912,525. And then finally, we do a 15% increase in price, and that takes the business to $1,049,403. So literally, frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. That is the way to go. Everybody write in the chat really quick. Just write frequency, because I want you to remember this. Frequency, referrals, average ticket, and pricing. That's F.R.A.P. And those are the 4 levers that already exist in your business. So I'm not telling you to do anything that, you know, you already have these things built into your business. All you have to do is sit down and think for like 1 hour on each one of these things about how you could optimize them. How could you improve them? What systems could you install? What scripts could you upgrade or install that would literally double your profits in 1 year? Because, you know, we grew by, you know, over $400,000 in revenue. But again, remember, a huge chunk of that is going to be profit because you didn't have to spend more money on marketing. And in my business, in 2022 alone, we spent about $14,000 on unprofitable marketing. Now, like we actually spent, I think it was close to 40 or 50,000 in total in marketing. But about 14,000, I did an audit before I sold out my business, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I really wasted a lot of money because I didn't, you know, didn't take the time to think through things like this. And so having these systems is so helpful. And if you're getting free customers, you can grow all day long. Okay, so really makes a big difference. And if you guys are interested, we do have a 10-week money-making implementation program called Warplan AI. And if you're interested in it, I won't talk a whole lot about it today. But if you are interested in like how to implement these things in your business, that is something that we can do. And we actually, I have a program where we do a lot of done for you work on the front end, get a lot of these systems installed for you to help you be more profitable, help you get those clients that you need. And then we actually teach you how to do it on the back end. And so if that's something you're interested in, just send me a message. We can jump on a call really quick and see if it's a good fit for you. But I do want to share the freebies that I said I was going to give you guys today. So I'm going to put a link in the chat since you guys were so awesome and stayed all the way to the end. If you go to this link, you'll be able to download our free guide, which is 60 profit producing ideas to make it rain for your business. So it's really cool. There's 15 action items or 15 different ways to implement frequency, referrals, average ticket pricing. So there's actually 15 done for you ideas, scripts, different things that you can install in your business. So just take like 4 of them, pick your 4 favorite ones, and go do them today. And you will thank me for it. You will be so happy, and I'll be happy for you because you will make more money. Like it's impossible for you to take action on these things and not make more money. I know I mentioned earlier, but I just want to reiterate, like literally when we changed how we were selling our packages and actually started having really clear packages, we doubled our revenue in 3 months in our service business by installing good follow-up, which is kind of attached to the frequency component where we're following up with people more so that they're more engaged as leads and customers and buying from us more often. We doubled our company in 6 months again. So these things really work. They worked in my business. They will absolutely work in your business. There's no way they can't work. So download this. It's completely free, and would love to get it in you guys' hands. And then finally, I'm going to send you guys an email because we're almost at time. But I'm going to be doing a video soon on we've just now revealed a free piece of software that has a F.R.A.P calculator built into it, and it tracks your revenue in your company and your goal as well, like your 12-month goal, and it tracks that gap for you so that you can see what you need to be doing each month to get closer to closing that gap. And it has a F.R.A.P calculator that actually shows you for your business, it's customized for your business. It'll show you how much do you need to increase your F.R.A.P in order to close your gap. So how many of you guys would be interested in seeing like a quick demo? Type it in the chat if you want to see me do a quick demo. Okay, Frank says yes. Elizabeth says yes. Okay, cool. I'll show you guys a really quick demo. This is the paid version, but our free version has the same kind of thing. So what we do is, this is my goal. Oh, so I've set my goal. My goal is it's a yearly goal, and this is just a sample made service that I have in here. So this is not like a real company. This is based on my old maid service. But let's say my goal is $1 million in revenue. Okay, and so it shows me here my goal start date, when my deadline is, which is December 31st. You can also set it up to be a monthly recurring revenue goal. So like by X date, I want my monthly recurring revenue, my MRR, to increase by this much. You can see what your goal is. You can see what your current revenue is. Why did it do that? Terrible. So you can see what your current revenue is, and then what you should be doing to stay on pace. So like it'll tell you if you're over or under. I haven't updated this in a couple months, and it's just a sample. But so I'm like technically under my revenue goal, so I could think, okay, what do I need to do to get back on track? Over the next 6 months or whatever. Oh, Frank says you don't see it. Are you still not seeing it? Can you see my screen? No, okay, sorry, I'm fixing it now. There, should be able to see it now. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. So, yeah, so this is what the goal looks like. So it does a full breakdown for you. You're able to see the start date, the deadline, what the plan goal is, what your current revenue is. So you track it every month. You tell the system, this is how much we made. So you update your financials every month. It tells you what you should be doing to be on pace with your goal, if that makes sense. And it actually builds a revenue curve. This is my revenue. This kind of shows me what the curve looks like how many customers I need to be getting throughout the year, and see how it kind of goes up and down. So it's based on the natural buying cycle of your company. And And then it'll tell you if you're over or under pace, and you can see the little man on here, where he's at reaching goal mountain. And then it'll tell you based on your average ticket. So you tell it what your average ticket is. It'll tell you how many customers you need, how much additional revenue you need, and what the total revenue would be. And you can even see how many customers do I need to get this month in order to stay on pace. Okay. Because I haven't updated it, this is like what the adjusted pace would be. So you could ignore that. But it tells you super cool. So you can see like what your natural buying cycle is going to be. And then we also have the F.R.A.P calculator. So this is super cool. So it measures what that gap is and how many customers you need. And so if I was like, you know what, I'm going to increase my frequency by 20%. I'm going to increase my referrals by 10%. I'm going to increase my average ticket by 10%. Already crushed my goal. Let's say I just did like 10% on each one, and I'll raise my prices 10%. I've already like crushed it on my goal. See, so even with just raising prices 1%, like if I improve these other areas, done. Like I've crushed my goal. Okay. So this is really cool. It's a F.R.A.P calculator that's built into the software. We've got it in the free version. And so again, it'll show you where you're at on your goal. You're able to go in every month and update. The free version is a little bit simpler than this, but basically you go in and you update your revenue every month, and it keeps track of it for you. So super amazing. So I'm going to send you guys an email with a link to get set up for that. And then if you guys are interested in doing our Done For You program, where we actually install a lot of the systems in your business, we can do that as well. So just let me know. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you guys right now. So this is the free version of the battle plan software. It's got the F.R.A.P calculator and can track your goals and everything. So I put it in the chat, and then I'll email you guys as well, just to make sure you got it. But with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know it's already 12:04, but would love to take any questions. You guys have any general questions about F.R.A.P, just general about business, about marketing, anything like that? Would love to hear from you guys.
Do you give it access to the PDF you're using?
Yes, I'm going to email you that here shortly, so you can see a breakdown of that, and then be sure to use the link to sign up for the 60 profit producing ideas as well, because it's really cool. It's 15 ideas for each of the 4 categories, so you can just like pick and choose 1 or 2 from each category, go implement them right away, and like really makes a big difference in your business.
Yeah. Well, very good stuff. Not to be too nosy, but I saw that you had something about lead magnets for F.R.A.P. Do you have anything on that as well?
Yeah, this is just this things that I shared with you. So the free battle plan and the 60 profit producing ideas, those are all the things that we have available. And then as well, the presentation I showed you today, that's an extra one which I'll send to you. But yeah, that's really just to showcase the F.R.A.P formula and like how effective and powerful it is. Yeah, so you're getting access to basically, all the stuff that I have available as far as that goes. Yeah.
Nice. Great
So
stuff, man. Appreciate it very much.
yeah, Frank, were there any takeaways that you had from today that you feel like you can definitely implement in your business?
Well, I mean, besides saying all of them, when you're offering CFO services for people that kind of need some strategy as far as being more profitable
Mhm.
versus spending more money to be more profitable. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, these have a lot to do with sales and marketing, but when you're at an advisory level, it's not just about pinching the numbers and trying to squeeze a dollar here and there. Sometimes it's implementing some of these processes that would increase, the profitability and get them some more cash in their bank, which, you know, like I really like the stat you showed about 81% of the businesses are 2 weeks away from overdraft. I mean, 81% for sure. I've seen that time and time again. And then the other stat that you shared was that I found really interesting was that, and it makes sense, but I've never heard it put this way. By increasing your prices, you actually are going to be able to lower your turnover, which,
Yeah.
man, I mean, I kind of thought that's what it was, but that's exactly it, right? You're able to pay them better, and people stay for the pay. Let's not fool ourselves, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, especially with mom and pop operations, we like to think that there's just goodwill until Jesus comes back, but people have to pay their bills and we need to take good care of them,
Yeah,
you know, and uh and happy employees make happy customers.
yeah, and a better culture and those kind of things. So man, so yeah, a lot of great stuff here in this whole entire breakdown. So appreciate it so much. I like the Rainmaker campaign and all that good stuff. So that's really good stuff.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um Frank, I would love to, because you have kind of a different seat than most business owners. You're interfacing with a lot of different businesses. I'd love to talk with you later. I'd love to jump on a call with you because I think I have something that may honestly help your customers more and could be really fun and help your companies be more profitable, the people that you're serving and everything. So we can talk more about that if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. Just don't sue me for copyright because, like I said, some of this stuff, you know,
Yeah.
you can get caught up in the financial language lingo, but this kind of helps give some, way of putting it in terms that helps a business owner, an average day business owner, understand this is
Yeah.
what's going to help you.
Yeah.
So if I say we need to decrease your churn and we need to decrease your you, you know you we need to increase your runway and uh your burn. they,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
they start looking at you cross-eyed, but this stuff right here helps you put some words to it where they can understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And feel free to share any of this. And when you use these tools, when you really focus on FRAP, it's so simple. It's so simple that people could be tempted to ignore it, but like it 100% works. Um, I mean, I mentioned like this is no exaggeration. Josh was working with a VA agency here in the States. They were doing, I think it was 2.5 million in revenue. It's already like a really nice sized company. Um, he started working with them privately, which is very expensive, and they started implementing FRAP. And before you know it, they did 4 million in revenue, and then now they're on pace to do, I believe it's 6 million. And
Yeah.
so like it really works, and we've proven it again and again. I know it worked in my company. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep, good stuff for sure. I mean, I would say that for those who need to offer some services, if they didn't have one already, I know the gentleman early said he didn't have a business, but you could literally take this and help because you know as well as I do, you can tell people all these things and they'll agree with you, nod their head, and even say, yes, I need to do it. But the implementation of it
Yeah,
is a whole different story,
yeah,
right? So,
absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know,
and that's why we exist. I mean, I do have a paid done for you service with our private clients where we install all this for you, and then we use some AI tools that are actually inside WarPlan that make it a lot easier to for somebody to maintain it from there, you know. And we also do biweekly coaching and all of that. So if you guys are interested in that, I'd love to, you know, talk with any of you. After this, we can you know hop on a call. But yeah, we do have those services because, like you said, the implementation is the hard part, and that's really where it's at. That's really all that matters.
Sure.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share any questions or big takeaways from today? What was, feel free to unmute yourself. Just share what was one thing that you took away. You're like, I can implement this today in my business. I'm going to go do it. I love Maria said every October she raises her prices. That's awesome. We got to do it. Cool. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we will sign off. This recording will be uploaded in the school community, so you can always access it there. I'll go ahead and email you guys the freebies. All right. And then if y'all have any questions, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'm here to help and would love to serve you guys. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for showing up for the call today. We'll see you next week. Bye.